Right, it's Monday afternoon and I've only just arrived at the yard. So I've spent the morning catching up with your emails, people that email into us. I didn't get a chance over the weekend because I was busy, but I've spent a couple of hours getting back to each and every one of you that sent in an email, sent in a message, asking for some advice, doing what doing what we can to help. And then I had a quick meeting, and then I got a phone call from one of our new sponsors for the channel. So we've got a new sponsor for the channel. We're going to do a bit of a reveal in the next couple of weeks. So I've lost most of the morning, but it's been worth it because some big improvements going to the channel, some good things that are happening for you guys and girls watching. So it's going to be absolutely brilliant. This afternoon there's not going to be much I can film, but I'm going to be just doing a few little improvements to the yard. Again, some of the stuff we're doing might not be good enough for filming, so I'm not going to bore that. So I'm going to get Monday out of the way and we're going to go straight on to Tuesday. So it's Tuesday and we're in the yard. Yesterday I did a few little adjustments to our temporary made shelter, sorted a few bits out in the container, doing a bit of a stock check as well, which again I'll start walking you through that as I go forward with these videos. So today, as you guessed, we are back processing still. It's going to be a bit repetitive, but I'll keep getting good footage. Jake's still on the uni forest, I'm logging. I do like logging. Jake, he's okay with logging, he's not a big fan. He'd sooner be on the processor all day long than logging, but I've always enjoyed logging. It's one of my favourite things to do, I say. But yeah, so I'm going to crack on logging. I want to show you a few bits as well when it comes to sharpening, because a lot of people ask me, why does my saw cut so good? What sort of sharpening do I do? Can I provide some sharpening videos? Now, I'm not going to do a sharpening video, but I just want to show you all a few bits, what I do and what I've learnt over the years. Right, so this is the chain that I was using last week. I didn't sharpen it for a specific reason, so I can show you this. I get asked quite a few questions, and since the last video I've been asked a hell of a lot more times, how do you sharpen your chain, what makes it cut so well, blah 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 blah. Now, I'm not going to do a video on chain sharpening now. I'll do that when I get a better lens. I do apologise if it's not focusing, but I just want to show you some little tips and tricks, let's just say, and squash a few myths. The first thing I'm going to say is I don't like 2-in-1 files, and I don't like following angles on a file guide. That's just me. I like to be able to control the way I file my saw. I don't like to go recommended. I don't like something controlling my depth gauges. I like to get the touch and feel of that. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is, it makes no odds if you sharpen that 20 times, that tooth, and then sharpen that tooth 5 times. You haven't got to sharpen your teeth equally. And if you speak to any experienced logger, maybe tree surgeon, I don't know how much logging, I know they do a lot of logging, but how much they actually do, when it comes to bigger timber, where they'll see a difference, they will tell you that that is a complete myth, right? I know people who file depth gauges right down, and I know people who don't. There is no standard. Everyone who sharpens their saw their own way, I've said it a lot before on my live streams, it's all down to the person using it, okay? Everyone does it differently, and there's no right or wrong way, right? It's a skill you learn, and you should learn how to use a file. It's a skill you learn and you tweak it to what suits you, okay? So your first thing you'll look at is the size of the file that you're using. For a 3/8 1.6 chain, I'll use a 7/32 file. That is me, okay? But that doesn't mean you can't drop down to a smaller file as you get further down the chain, right? You want to be able to get that hook at the very end, the point, the finger grabbing hook when you catch it, when you move your chain and it cuts you, by hand. The finger grabber, I call it, the point at the very end, you want that to be crisp as possible, right? Because then once you go from that point there, you've got the underside, which is the chisel, so you want to chisel it down, and then you've got the gullet where it removes all the which is on your bottom plate, which removes everything, okay? Fires your sawdust. The train going past, there we go. The sharper the angle you file, the faster it will cut. but the quicker it will blunt. The shallower you do your file, the slower it will cut, but it will also mean you don't have to sharpen it as much. So there's like a fine line between, and you can play around with that, okay? So what I tend to do when I'm sharpening, I'll do the first 2 strokes aiming down, okay? And then I'll do the final strokes flat, because I'm clearing that gullet out whilst coming back to file it and getting that top chisel underneath, okay? That is how I keep my saw sharp, and that is the sort of process I go through. You can also clear your back end, okay? You can aim up a bit. There is no right or wrong way, and for anyone who says you shouldn't get a bit of shine on your links, again, it is wrong. You don't want to obviously file all the way through your links, but you can file on top of your links. It doesn't make a difference. So what you'll find is, it's hard to show on this camera, that's why I said I'll do a better video than there. When you're filing, you'll notice, get an old chain out, you'll notice a little bump before the gullet, right? At the very bottom, you'll notice a little bump from where you filed and worked your way in, okay? That I call a ski jump. I don't want to ski jump on there, because then you're losing half of your bottom plate, okay? Your next rule of thumb, which I'd say is a big important one, that point there, that very edge point at the end of your tooth, needs to be further out. See if I can get a photo at the end. Then let's say you see your curve at the back of your chain. Okay. Now, people will say you shouldn't push too hard. You should let the file do the work. Again, it's completely up to you. Ignore everyone else. You practice on what you do. Again, I don't like 2-in-1 files. I don't like file guides. I don't want anything that's going to dictate how I sharpen my saw. It's all about experience, okay? I don't want to do a 2-in-1 file where it's filing down my rakers for me. I like to do my rakers myself. If I've got nasty timber, I want them a bit higher so I don't get as much, you know, snag and kickback. So, again, follow it along. It's hard because the camera's in the way, but I'll try my best. Now, I'm not filing it back, so I'm not putting pressure on when I'm coming back. I relieve my pressure as I'm coming back, just draw it across, and then shove forward again like that. The camera is right where I keep my hand, so yeah, oh, knocked it, so you have to excuse if I haven't got the angle quite right. It's hard to tell with the camera there, but that is basically where I have it. Literally, if you see me now, I'm trying to literally, my hand is right on the camera in between the stand. Try and do it with just the end like that. That's a bit better. Right, so there you have it. I've got a good seat, I've got the top plate, and my point is sticking over, and it is a finger grabber. So, again, ignore how bad it was for me to get to that point. I don't need to file it down as much as I did. I'll just show me more and off the guide. Now, when it comes to your rakers, you can have a raker guide. I've had a raker guide before. I also use a bit of plate. What you want to look at is, right, I tend to go from the top of that point down to the chain, okay? I don't know if you can see that. Top of the point down to the chain, so like a diagonal angle like that. Whatever's exposed is the angle I will try and flat file. Now, a lot of people flat file bang on top like that, okay? I'm not actually going to file it, but that's okay. But have a look at your depth gauge. It's got an angle and then just a tiny bit of flat. Now you picture every time you file, if you do it this way and you're going flat, how big that flat edge is there. So two ways you can do it. You can either mock yourself up your own little file guide, right, and do it like that, and then you'll follow the angle down. That's great. Your other way you can do it is I go 1, 2, 3 strokes like that, depending on how much I filed, obviously, and then your last stroke, I'll round it back off again. Okay, so you got a little flat bit there, and I've rounded it off. Now the reason for that is I'm keeping the exact same shape as how that came. And what you find with that is you're still lowering the depth, so you're still cutting well, but you're not getting that judder and that kickback. You don't want that when you're doing the undercut. You don't want your saw going like, you know, stalling because you got it too low. It's just a good place to be. Now, the final thing I'm going to tell you is you can file this as much as you want. You can take it right back. The further down you go, past that line or at the line, the more of a chance you've got of your tooth breaking off. But just bear in mind what timber you're doing. If you're doing big timber, 9 out of 10, you're going to be alright. If you're doing softwood, you're going to be alright. It's all about prepping your chain for what you're going to do. Okay? That's just as simple as I can put it. There is no right or wrong way. It is what you feel comfortable with and what you think works for you. And that's how I've learned. And if I'm doing, you know, oak, I won't go as sharp because it will just batter the point over. I'll, you know, take it, make it a bit shallower. And if I'm doing, I don't know, something like silver birch, some softwood, I'll make that angle quite sharp. You know, I'll probably kick it right out like that. And the reason being is, it will cut through faster and it's not going to blunt. If you've got dirty timber, if you're doing hard waste, everything you do has a different method of sharpening, in my opinion. And that's why I don't like file guides. So I do apologise if this was a bit of a crappy video section. It's not the right camera for this. I will do a proper one when I get the camera set up, and I hope it makes sense. It's quite hard when you got machines and everything in the background trying to remember, and this isn't scripted. So right, let me sharpen this and crack on. Right, so now I've done that, it's all sharp. Again, on the depth gauges, I usually like 3 strokes, if I can gauge it, and then, you know, round the edge over. Or if not, you can use a gauge to do it. I don't like the pre-made gauges, I like, you know, to make your own gauge. You'll find that. Now, as good old Marco said, perfection is a lot of little things done right. Always ask yourself why you're doing what you're doing. Study your chain, study what you're doing, and work out what works best for you, the operator. Don't let some standardized thing tell you how to sharpen your chain. And if that's any advice I can give you about sawing, that'll be my #1 best advice I could give you. Anyway, enough waffle, let's carry on.
Morning everyone. So we are on Wednesday. I didn't get a chance to film last night. Do you know them days where people just come in and keep talking to you and you get phone calls and people asking you questions, and they're quite important questions, don't get me wrong, but start, stop, turn off my saw. Someone's walked over, asked you a question. So we had quite a bit going on. I had a meeting this morning with JCB and a few others, got some cool stuff coming, so we'll have a look at that at a later date, but here we go. Right. Obviously Jake's made a start while I had the meeting, started filling up the cages. The 400's on a bit of a slower speed at the minute while he's on his own, you know, going through. I've just got to log this one up, that's one that's left, and I've cleared a pretty good section. Jake runs his Husky, obviously he's going to use that in a bit, probably give me a quick hand, and then I run the 500i. So, bit of an awkward day today. I've got quite a bit on, stuff I can't really film, so about 1 o'clock I have an appointment to sort out. Again, more exciting things. You don't realise once you start, you know, when I say putting in the effort, I've always put in the effort, but when people start recognising your effort, everyone wants to work with you. And we have quite a few bits in the making, a few things that benefit our business as well, because, you know, I do all this technically for free, in a way. Like, I provide you with knowledge and show you what's going on at our own expense. So, you know, companies recognise that, want to get on board, you know, try and help. We've got a documentary coming next year that I'm planning for, a big one that shows the whole of the industry, so that's going to be good. We've got timber coming tomorrow, so Jake needs to get back on the processor. You know, I cleared out, you know, pretty good section yesterday, the big timber. And bear in mind, I'm doing this in between Jake processing as well, helping move bags, stack bags, and Jake obviously might have to hop on it and move bags and stack bags, you know, as we go along. But we are getting some really good stock here, at this place anyway, starting to really build it up. We're getting more and more wholesale inquiries. We are getting tons of mobile processing inquiries still. However, I've put a hold on a couple of weeks just to, you know, get this place a bit more sorted out. So that's gonna be good. Morning everyone, so we're in Shropshire today and we're doing some filming, ready for the big video next week. I won't give too much away, but it's going to be a great video, so don't forget to tune in next week. And just like that, it's Friday morning and I'm not in the yard. So, as I said, I'm at Chris's today. He asked me to get a bit earlier so I can have a quick look at his motor. I fixed his motor last time, he had a diesel issue with it. But there's a little bit of a lack of power there. It has power in the lower gears, but not in the higher gear. So I'm just letting it heat up. Get it running, it's an L200 2008. So let the engine heat up, it sounds pretty good at the minute. But plug the reader in and see where we're at. Got a good day's logging, so looking forward to that. And well, that's all I can say for now, but I'll see you in a minute. So I'm at Chris's. He's laid out the oversize again, some good lumps here. Got quite a bit of oversize to get through. Did all that last time I was here for a day. Get this done, get logged up, I'll film where I can, as usual. Probably get the first couple of bits out of the way first. And then I'll be back next week, hopefully with the Splitta 400. So I'm running the 500i. I've got 661 on the back. I'll probably switch that halfway through, let my body warm up a bit. Yeah, some quite hefty pieces, to be honest. Just needed a quick fill up. Can't beat logging. But that was like, let's say, a day. So it could be. It was a really hot day. It was like 26 degrees, 27 I think, can't remember, but all I know is I was burning all the way out. I was overheating. You know, I think when you wear chainsaw trousers, it absolutely kills you off. Chris is going to keep loading up with the Avant and get things sorted out for me. Just waiting for him just to chat to someone before I fire up the saw again, and I'll crack on. Well, it's 20 past 4 and we're still going. I felt very kind. Chris is a good friend, so I thought, why not try and get as much as I can done until my body gives in. But Chris has been laying them out like that with the Avant, and I've been logging it up, and then Chris shoves them up. But that pile is absolutely massive. Like, it's hard to capture on video. It doesn't do it justice. Literally, I've got the cubic meterage anyway, and I'll drop it in at the end of the video. We're done, but absolutely tons of it. Chris is loving life on that. But I'm gonna be real with you, alright? I'm not saying I'm the best logger. I'm not saying I'm the worst logger. But I can tell you now, it's hard work, okay? You gotta keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Now, I tell you what really shows you what a true logger is, or a true worker, alright? You come to work with nothing but a saw and a set of files, maybe a spare chain, alright? In this instance, I came with two, so I started kicking out the 661. But anyway, back to the point. You come to work with basically a saw and some files, and that's all there is, right? And you've got to produce a good amount for the people that are paying you with just a saw and some files. You've got to go ahead now and make your money with a saw and files. You've got to go and provide for your family with a saw and a set of files. Now that there is true hard work, and I love it. Literally, I'm enjoying it. I'll get Chris on camera. Every time he goes, is that it? No, keep going, keep going, keep going. You know, we'll keep going until we're not allowed, or until my body gives up. But no, I love logging. It's like, you can see how happy I am about it. I'm just gonna keep doing it, and then I've got loads at the yard. I know it's been a bit of a boring week for you probably to watch, because I haven't been able to get much footage of me actually doing much. But I try. There's certain places I can't film, certain things I can film. The more I get onto it and the more I move forward, I think people will start to realise that when they have me, there's going to be some filming. But I'm just like trying to like break people into it, you know, because obviously don't forget this is my business. So I'll try and do what I can. That stack went all the way down there, believe it or not. The oversized stack. See if I can find a photo of it. I'm sure I got a photo that Chris sent me. Here he comes. Chris handles the Avant like a pro. I cannot drive him like that. Yeah, that face says it all. Feels a bit sketchy. Well, friends, colleagues, associates, that is 2 days logging,
on the saw. His pile is gone. He's very high. Let's get pushing and pushing and pushing it back. There's some tonnage there. Looking forward to cracking the Splitta 400 on it. But to give you things, it's about as high as these orange things. Quite through and through. And to give you a reference, about the height of me. So that is it. I tell you what, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not my back that's hurting. Oh, my hand. Go from holding the saw all day, the vibration, your hands cramp. Oh, literally, it's so sore. They're going to hurt tomorrow. But yeah, I'm really happy with that. Chris the Event Man. Chris the Event Man. Right. I best get wrapped up then. It is now 5:30. So, had a good long day. So for Chris, it's a very good day. He got a lot logged, got a bit extra, and I was here for just on 6 this morning-ish. And he's had his vehicle fixed. I don't know if I said in the video earlier, it was the boost solenoid. So, quick fiddle, quick play, and we're all back. And then he had a load of logging done. So, it's a good day for Chris. You know, I do enjoy that.